How's it going, YouTube? It's Panda time. This is the last match that I have of the Pauper tournament that we had at PPG. This one has a little bit of a glare, but I hope it's not too bad and I hope it's still enjoyable. In this match we have yellow. I don't know what kind of yellow deck it is, to be honest. There's some good yellow stuff in there, such as the Tinkerbell package. Going up against King Whamon. I do like King Whamon, is the deck that I myself used. But this is not my build, it's a different player, so we'll see, you know, differences, I guess. And we go in with the Goma and then hard drop in the level 6. I have done this play myself. Sometimes it's the best thing to do. You give your opponent a ton of memory to work with, but you know, like, there is no Wyvern's Breath, for example, or anything like that. And this early in the game, your opponent might just not have a good answer to it. Reinforced memory boost, could take this Skull Mammoth or put on top security. But if you put on top security, you know, it's just the Gomamon can swing at it and then you'll be free to go with your level 6, right? So I'm not sure about that. It is like a way to spend a lot of memory. Still his turn though. But yeah, you have to wonder what is the hand of the Whamon's player. Like, what hand does he have? He has 2 hard pass. So honestly, if you consider what happened, the hard drop at level 6 was actually a great play. Like, sure, there's a reinforced memory, but like, that really is all that happened. And hard drop in a Whamon, wow. They didn't even promote and swing with the Gomamon, which I thought would have been like an obvious play. So very interesting. Luisthepanda can block the reinforced memory boost, but then by hard playing the Whamon, he once again passes a ton of memory over. Like, maybe the yellow player could use this memory and take advantage of it, but it feels like last turn he wasn't able to really do so. Reinforced memory was definitely a fine play, but he didn't really have much else. We'll see if this turn he can do anything else. Starmon is a pretty good start for sure. Can get rid of the Madoki. Now he has access to memory boost, so he once again really has so much memory to work with. Swings, dies, that's unfortunate. His big stack is gone. He at least does have a second one to work with. Maybe he just, you know, didn't have the level 6 to go into, which again makes you wonder if taking the Skull Mammoth would have just been the better play. Skull Mammoth could have put in some work. This is kind of awkward though, but I mean, he's got memory to work with. Gonna be hard drop in Andromon. I don't know if I agree with this because like he very clearly has the level 6. Could just Digivolve over it, right? I guess the Andromon is not that expensive, right? It's only 6 memory, but still does give over some memory to the Whamon player. They could swing using the effect to strip the stores and get the memory in the draw. But he knew that it was a 12k Skull Mammoth. So I think that's definitely a misplay too, right? You swing with your rookie first, and then swing with the level 6. The King Whamon can bounce the Turimon, which is pretty good. There's a Petermon Insecurity, and I guess he can just go into another Regalismon, which isn't bad, but I feel like he should have had 2 level 6s, right? Like, there's no reason to protect your Gomamon or your level 6 there, that's for sure. Now the Andromon is still in there for the yellow player. So if he had a Skull Mammoth one, like that would be pretty sick. Gonna swing at security and survives. But at this point, like your Andromon is just gonna get swung over for sure. And I guess we haven't, like the yellow player hasn't really been able to amount like too much. Like he hasn't been able to really set up anything. Goes into another level 5 in the back. Might be just digging for that level 6, right? So for sure the Andromon's getting swung over. 100%, yeah. And then he can either keep going wide. I don't think he needs to make another full stack to win this game. The Madoki one is a good play because the reinforced memory is still there for yellow player and he was kind of just holding onto it for, I guess, like a key moment. And Madoki might just like completely deny that. Rare Victory is gonna bounce back to level 5. See, Rare Victory is interesting because like you need a Tamer for the second effect. Like in my build I play Kirkata's Breath. Rare Victory is better at dealing with level 5s, much better, right? But because there are no Tamers, you can't ever get the restand effect, sadly. But I do like Rare Victory, I think it's a pretty sick card. Perchine being hard dropped to clear the rookies. But he actually, that's an illegal play. He didn't have a yellow card on the board, right? Because the reinforced memory does not count as a yellow card. Like options basically say you need a yellow Digimon or a yellow Tamer to be played. So he actually could not have played that. But you know, it's like one of the most common mistakes in Digimon. Happens all the time. what I would say is just be careful when you're playing, like double check this type of stuff. Anytime my opponent plays an option, I always like just like 1 second look at the board, like can they play that option? And a lot of times the answer is no. Even against some of the best players, like again, this I think is the most common mistake. If the most common mistake is like not drawing by Digivolving, then the second one is playing illegal options because you don't have the correct color. Yeah, so we try to reinforce memory boost, but it doesn't work because the Lucky one's out there. Technically, you know, I mean, this is tournament, but if it was like a big serious tournament, you'd be like, no, you use the card, you just don't get the memory, right? But in this case, you know, it's cool. He lets him take it back essentially. Hard drops a Unimon. Not doing too much, sadly. Just a ton of like kind of awkward plays from yellow. I feel like many times he could have just like Digivolve but chose to like hard play stuff. Like for example, you know, you could Digivolve Salomon into Unimon and see what happens. But he was put in an awkward situation. He was given a lot of memory to work with and he didn't have the best ways to spend that memory, right? The Kaisernail's super sick. He gets to get memory back from the Bukamon, and he gets the King Whamon effect, then the Whamon effect. So just a great use of the Kaisernail. Like he's got so many Digimon on board. The reinforced memory still can be used. Yellow player only has 1 memory, and that's a wrap. I mean, there's no way he can come back from this, right? He wasn't able to ever go into a level 6. And like every level 5 that he had just got answered either by, you know, the Rare Victory, dying to security, or getting swung over. So a bit unfortunate. But I do like the plays from the Whamon player. You know, hard drop in the level 6 I think was the right play. Someone can swing just to see what's up. But yeah, that's gonna be game, right? There's really no way. There's nothing like insecurity that could do this much. Again, plays an option that he's not allowed. He's not allowed to play that. Does not have a yellow card on the board. Okay, and then Whamon has to just, you know, everything swing, right? Double Hammer Spark. Just to be safe. I guess the Holy Wave. Insecurity. Okay, so everything gets secure attack minus, meaning that not gonna be game. Holy Wave is a pretty good card for sure, but as much as it like saves him this turn, it doesn't actually change the outcome of the game, right? Like if he was in a better setup, maybe he could take advantage of that, but realistically, you know, with no Digimon on board and just having to hatch this turn, that extra turn is not gonna do anything, sadly. Then if there's anything to do, again, hard play Unimon. Never got to use the memory boost, sadly. Okay, there's like 8 Digimon. Just swing, right? Just everything swing. Sometimes you gotta just take your cards, turn them sideways. That'll win the game. Okay, gonna go into a King Whamon to bounce the Unimon, get a bunch more dudes. I mean, you know, showing us what the deck could do, gets the Bukamon memory, like pretty cool stuff, but a bit unnecessary for sure. Okay, everything swings, and that's game 1 going to King Whamon. So I'm not really sure like what the yellow deck is. We saw some other yellow decks that were like more security control focused, which I guess makes sense. You know, those decks could be good in this type of format. As for this deck, I'm not sure, but you know, Pauper format's interesting. There's not like a clear, I mean, there's some decks that are obviously good, like for example Icemon, right? But I don't know, it's interesting. People were trying stuff out. Some stuff might be good, some stuff might not be good. Like I know when I played my deck, I didn't test it at all because, you know, it's kind of busy the week, but like the turn was the first time that I played the deck. Okay, now Apemon, that's a Digimon card. Love to see Apemon. I actually would have liked to see him just get aggressive and just swing with Apemon. I feel like 8,000 is such high DP. Into Boring Storm, which is card draw. Boring Storm is an interesting card. That's a card that when I was first learning the Digimon card game, I used to play a lot of Boring Storm. I was like, wow, this card is sick, right? As the game evolves, there's just like a lot of better stuff you could play. But maybe in a Pauper format, you know, you have room for random text, and Boring Storm has a decent effect. Security gets some nice card draw. So it goes into a King Whamon in the back. With the Whamon under it is like the dream stack, exactly what you want to see. So when you're up against this, like, you don't want to have any level 3 or level 4s on the board. They're just going to get bounced, right? So you want to either be hard dropping level 5s or be building in the back. Gets the full value out of the effect, right? Summons the Whamon, Whamon summons the rookie. Even gonna use the effect to put a Whamon under it. I'm not sure why. There's no benefit of having a Whamon under it unless he has like a Kaiser nail. So maybe that's the reason, right? Like there's some cool inheribles you could do with blue to put him under, like the Gomon that gives you get memory. Some of the rookies that give you like extra DP. Or the one that I was using was the Chris Peldramon to get security attack +1. And then using, I don't know the name of that card, but it just bounces at level 6 or lower. And I guess it's pretty good. Maybe that's just better than Kokaido's Breath, right? Since in this format there's no level 7s. That might actually be strictly better than Kokaido's Breath. So maybe I should have played that instead of Kokaido's Breath. But then again, I have the fancy Kokaido's Breath, so you know, we gotta play the nice ones. Yeah, at this point though, Yellow player is once again just kind of behind, not being able to set up anything. Interesting that Whamon chose not to swing. Like he definitely has bodies that are able to swing. I think, you know, playing like super safe this turn, or I mean this entire game, I guess. I don't know what he might be fearing in security, but I feel like in a format like this, like you get an 11k, might be good to swing. Gonna be hard up in Salamon. I guess he might want to deny the recovery Salamon, right? Deny some value. I mean, there's definitely some merit to that. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, this is a really good combo. Okay, so by putting the Whamon under the King Whamon, it means that he could reuse the effect. That makes a lot of sense. That's a good play. Because usually the King Whamon, like, you summon and then, like, that's it, right? But this way he can use the effect twice. I actually really like that. That's a really solid play. It makes sense why you do that then. There's definitely a combo that I was not doing myself. Okay, once again, just goes into a super wide board and, like, I think we saw Perch Shine, but like, dude, Perch Shine is only gonna answer rookies, right? Like, there's no big board clear for yellow. Just gonna, once again, not really swing. And just keep memory choking. I guess he wants to just make sure that like when he's swinging, he's gonna be swinging for game. You know, to go super wide. But I feel like it kind of drags the game on longer than necessary, maybe. And sadly, we just haven't seen the yellow player be able to get any sort of momentum at all. Goes into a Turbomon, lets him, you know, continue his turn. But that better be going into a level 5, yeah. The thing is, like, the level 5 at this point is too little too late. Might even get bounce back or something, right? Okay, there's a bunch of Digimon that can attack, so I'd like to see some of them attack. Finally. Get the mirror in the card draw. Yeah, see, like, Turbomon security. There's really not much he has to fear in security, I think. And sure, even if you hit the Holy Flame, like, okay, that's fine. It just gives them one more turn, but just like we saw last time, that extra turn, when you're super behind, just doesn't amount to anything. And yeah, he does have the bounce. Like, he has so much memory to spare, and he doesn't need to build, you know, any more stacks. So it's like such a perfect way to use that memory. Now, yellow player has to start from scratch again, just like we saw last game. And just like we saw last game, there's just nothing, right? There's no way you can come back from this one. I hope that you guys enjoyed the Pauper games. You know, my favorite one might have been the Wind against the purple player. That was a fun one for sure. But yeah, I definitely wanted to start doing BT8 stuff. So bear with me, you know, we're kind of waiting for the release in English, obviously. I'll try and get some pre-release matches from the pre-releases, and then we'll do that. And then as soon as I get BT8 cards, you know, we'll try and get some BT8 gameplay up in here. Okay, everything has to just swing now, and that's going to be game for Whamon. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.